What's up, YouTube? Good morning. Welcome back to the channel. It's an early start today for me, and we are getting on the road. We've got about a 2-hour drive, but we are going to go see probably one of the most naturalistic fish rooms that I have ever heard about. And I can't wait to get up there, so let's hit the road, let's grab some breakfast, and get this going. Back to the channel. You know me. I'm Trent Wel-Don with Wel-Don Tanks. I'm here with Jared in his fish room. This was the 2-hour drive. Well worth it. So we're going to have Jared do a quick introduction, and he's going to show us around his fish room.
Hey everybody, my name is Jared Garner. I'm the owner of H2O Aquarium Services in Logan, and so we're up here in Cache Valley, Utah, and we just got the fish room buttoned up and put together to where we felt like maybe it would be fun to show it off, and I appreciate Trent coming down and going through it with us. So
I can't thank you enough for letting me be up here, guys. I've already fallen in love with this tank here. We're gonna get over to the big one in the center. Guys, I've already fallen in love with this fish room, so we'll let Jared take us through what he's doing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So we mostly focus on nature aquariums. Almost creating a little mini ecosystem. That's really the way I like to do tanks. And so yes, it is all fresh water. I take care of salt water for clients, but I don't have any of my own, just preference wise and the way I really prefer to do aquariums. But this aquarium actually doesn't have a filter on it. It just has an air stone, and the plants do all the filtration. We've got cherry shrimp, and there are some scarlet batis, but they've ducked away. It looks like there's one there, but this tank is so just tranquil and peaceful. We love staring at it, and it helps you relax. So
this is what, the smallest tank in the fish room?
Yeah, yeah.
But this is actually, guys, this is actually the tank that I have the entire day that I've been here. This is the tank I keep coming back to. It is incredible what Jared has done here, and just the time.
Yeah, just nature over time, really. I threw some stuff in there, and I let this weeping willow moss, giant willow moss, just let it do its thing. I don't really trim anything. I'll clean the algae back enough so we can see in there, but that's about it. Yeah, so then we've got all these tins here. A lot of these are fairly new. These two recently set up. They're cycled and ready for fish, but we don't have any real livestock in there yet. So we've got some Gardner Ikeli fish that came in. I'm trying to put a little size on them before I take them to a client of mine.
So you will land fish for clients, and then take them there.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of times when you bring fish in, you want to quarantine them always, for sure, as we all know that at this point, I'm sure. But I like to put some size on them and make sure they're eating and they're healthy, so that when I take them to the client, I know that fish is just going to eat the food that's already there. It's going to fit in as best as my own knowledge would, and the internet's knowledge would say they'd get along with stuff. But yeah, so that's what we're doing with these guys. Their eventual home is a 125-gallon nature aquarium, so they'll be loving life in that.
And your tank, so the tank next to it, we were talking about this earlier. This may cause some controversy, but I love it.
Yeah, I love this tank. I think that it's absolutely beautiful watching the fish interact with the algae. There is a little bit, the stringier parts of it is actual Java moss, just fighting for its life basically. But this is, you go look in a river anywhere, and this is more closely what you'll see as opposed to this manicured stuff. But yeah, I love these tanks.
But the Apistos, we were talking about this too, the Apistos in here, the color on them is incredible.
Yeah, you can see them back there displaying for the female. They're probably going to be breeding soon. They've dug a little burrow in the algae and the mess back there, and I mean, if those fry hatch out, and they're going to have plenty to eat with microorganisms and stuff, so that should work pretty good.
And what's the tank next to it? You said this is one that's a little more manicured?
Well, I mean, it's just got live plants, yeah. But this is just an Endler project that we're working on, trying to get that tiger finage with the Japanese blue. So hopefully that'll turn out.
And we've talked about this since I've been here, but your focus is what you call nature aquarium.
Yes.
You keep saying will you explain more of your thought process behind the nature aquarium?
Yeah, for sure. So to me, and everyone has their own definition, and nobody's going to argue that a mono, he's the king and godfather of nature aquariums, and no one's trying to take that title. But for me, a nature aquarium is almost a mini ecosystem, and that includes snails, that includes shrimp, that includes algae, that includes the microfauna that's going to help feed your nanofish and keep those guys happy and healthy. Obviously, your fish selection will be limited a little bit by doing this, because you put a big peacock cichlid in there, he's going to tear everything up, or a goldfish. But there's still so many different fish that you can choose from and have them in these live planted little mini ecosystems. And really, that's probably what I would call them, mini ecosystems. That's really what you try to recreate.
Oh, especially with your little scarlet baddest tank up there.
Yeah.
That's what I would say that is what an ecosystem is.
Yeah, I knew I was ready to put fish in there when I saw just Daphnia and microworms all over the place. You just see them swimming everywhere. There he is. He's actually out hanging out with us. But yeah, they just hunt all day long. They're micro predators, so they're looking for Daphnia, shrimp fry. I do want the shrimp to keep going, but there's enough hiding spaces. We'll probably always have some in there. So, yep.
And then you got some fish that I've never even seen nor heard about.
Yeah, so they're actually a Tanganyika shell dweller, Compressicep, and then Sumbu. From what this could have changed recently, but from what I know, they don't have a species name quite yet. Sumbu, I think, was the region they're collected from, but these are not necessarily wild caught or anything, but they are not seen often. They are a shell dweller, but they have the body shape of like a white calvus or a black calvus.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah,
I've
love them.
seen the black calvus, I've seen the white calvus, but then to morph that into a shell dweller, that's unique.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. They're not doing much. They're more just like, I enjoy having them, and if they breed, that'll be great, but I don't think I even have a male female in there, so yep.
Any other 10s?
Yeah, the rest of these are just, some blue shrimp we're working on, really good cherries in there, and then this is just a grow out for fry. So yeah, like I said, this rack's fairly new, and we're just still trying to get everything propagated and put where we want. So
You want to talk about the pride and joy, or do you want to save that for last?
yeah, we can go over this one now for sure. So this tank with the lights on top and the towels hanging, I mean, this is a fish room. I work in here regularly, but the thought behind this tank was to recreate a river ecosystem, including the difference in flow, the difference in vegetation and shelter, and it's actually worked better than I could have hoped. This tank's been going for 6 months. We started and we just had these blue shrimp going in here, and I started with 12 of them not that long ago, and part of what I wanted to do was just start from scratch, and so it was the stone and the gravel, and we let it get biofilm all over it, and then we introduced the shrimp and let them go crazy, and then we added the plants, and it sat for a long time without any fish. But anyway, we let that colony of shrimp just really go nuts in there, and there are so many shrimp in here now and so many hiding spaces that we could put in some fairly predatory fish, and those shrimp would be around all the time at this point. So, and that's really what I wanted to do.
And going off on, I would say this started as a true nature aquarium.
Mm-hmm.
You told me about bringing your rocks in.
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, that's fine. So the rocks actually were outside in my yard for a couple of years, just out in the weather and the seasons, and I didn't shelter them from anything. I knocked off some of the big dirt clods and stuff, but I didn't rinse them or anything, and put them in here. Filled up the water and let it run. I did have a few plants in at that time, but we just let it run for about, I don't know, 3 weeks or so. And the biofilm coming in on that was real thick, and so we got the shrimp in there, and the snails came in on the plants, which we are okay with snails because that is part of an ecosystem, and there are a lot of fish that will eat baby snails. So anyway, yeah, it just did its own thing, and I've let it cycle on its own. So yeah, I'm not afraid of letting nature just take its course. These are oak leaves from a tree in my backyard, and they've been breaking down over time. I made sure there wasn't pesticide or any chemicals on them because I know where I sourced them from, but they just breaking down in there doing their thing.
Next to his little 7-gallon, this tank, the hours I've been here, I keep coming back to this, and your idea of the river system. So this pump here projects it around and comes back in, and he literally, guys, Jared has shrimp right in this flow of this hair algae constantly grazing. I mean, it's probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen in an aquarium.
Oh yeah, I enjoy this, and a lot of people would say they don't like a lot of flow, and that's why there are spots in this tank where there's almost no flow at all, and that wound up being the nursery of the tank. The little tiny babies hang out where there's very little flow, but these young adults, the strong, healthy juveniles, they'll hang on there. They love foraging in the current. And I would like to get some bamboo shrimp and have them feed
That would be
in
super cool out there.
Yeah, that's been a thought we've had for a few times. But
and what are the little fish you have in here running around?
these are Daddio Danios or orange hatchet fish Danios. They are still quite young and haven't colored up quite like they should. But I'm really excited about them. The schooling, the shoaling action that they get zipping around this tank. And when I feed them, they'll go right into the current and just feed off as it comes to them. It's a lot of fun. So
when I've been here, Jared keeps referencing this as just Zen.
yeah.
Now, guys, this is probably one of the most relaxing fish rooms I've ever been in. I actually like this. I mean, granted, mine's a laundry room right now, but I prefer your fish room over anything I've ever been in.
Oh, I appreciate
it
that.
is very calming in here.
That's the whole mindset behind it, honestly. We all deal with everyday stresses. We all deal with, trying to be okay with what's going on around us, but I personally have used aquariums of this style to help, bring myself back, relax, remember what you're, wanting to get done. So I think there's a lot of power in just the nature of an aquarium when it's done this way. Everything's kind of in balance. You're not watching, a fish half starve to death, stuff like that. So yeah.
There's definitely balance in here.
Yeah.
And even just, the camera won't do this fish room justice.
I appreciate it.
Of the 10 gallons, the small, everything Jared does has a purpose, and you said you're doing your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I have a maintenance business, and we maintain saltwater and your standard, cichlid aquariums and stuff, but my focus is to introduce large-scale nature aquariums, ecosystem aquariums, to the public and have them in public settings looking amazing. Like this aquarium, if you went in a doctor's office and you saw that aquarium there and you were sitting waiting for the doctor, but you got to watch this tank for 15, 20 minutes. I mean, let's be realistic, more like an hour, but anyway, that for me, and I don't think I'm alone here, but that would zen me out. I would feel better. I would relax.
Oh, they'd have to pull me away from the tank.
Yeah,
to take me back to the room.
Yeah. So and that's exactly what I've done. I've got a few commercial clients in public settings that have nature aquariums on scale with this. I just set up a 125 gallon for a resident here in town, and we just introduced fish. The plants are coming in healthy. It's been amazing, and the education behind it, like helping people understand, like it takes time to build an ecosystem. You can't just get a glass box, fill it with water, and throw your fish in there. You can.
I did that.
Thanks to some of the bottled, bacteria and stuff, you can get away with it. But when you're actually building an ecosystem, it takes time. And
so my first tank, I did that.
Oh yeah.
Every fish died except one.
Yeah.
But now that I've learned, but seeing this, you have, in my opinion, mastered letting an ecosystem do its thing, grow to where your fish are some of the healthiest fish. Well, you made a comment. As we were talking about these two tanks over here, you have a Celestial Pearl Danio in one of these tanks, and your comment was, he's at home.
Yeah.
He's at home, and that's why he's so colored up.
Yeah. He's by himself because, you know, things over time have changed enough that he is a loner in there now. But he is at home because he can forage. I feed 1, maybe 2 small feedings, and it's not much. And if I wanted to breed these guys and have the fry survive, I would probably feed heavier. But they forage all day long on microorganisms and the algae, and just they're at home. They can act like they would. I mean, there might be more flow in their natural habitat, but you know, more than a box full of rainbow gravel, I feel like they're at home. So.
Oh, I mean, I agree. So he's got 2. These are 40 breeders.
Yeah, these are my oldest tanks. I started aquariums when I was 13 or so, and had them for a long time, and went through the cichlid phase. And I love cichlids still, but I went through that phase of breeding them, and then fell out for just a little, few years. And then when I got back in and really started to dedicate myself to the plants and the nature side of it and stuff, these have been running for 6 years solid. They've evolved over time. I don't really trim. I don't really mess with them much. They just kind of evolve over time, and it's beautiful to watch.
If you could give some advice to a new hobbyist, what would your advice be? If I came to you as a new hobbyist, I want to set up a fish tank. Or is that too broad of a question?
No, I think understanding that it's going to take time. Do not rush into it. And that's the hardest thing. Even as a seasoned hobbyist, been in the hobby for a long time, it's so tempting to get that glass box like this one here, fill it up and get some fish in it ASAP because you're just so excited. But be patient. Do it the right way. Let the ecosystem set up. Let the tank get well seasoned and established, and you will have way more success with whatever you put in there. So, yeah, I just understand that nature's going to take its time. Don't rush it, and just enjoy the journey of learning about them and stuff. I think that's why we're all in it, really, is just to keep learning and experimenting and trying new fish. So
I met Jared at my local club when you came down to give a talk. And your talk was based around ecosystems, nature aquariums, and you made a comment that I still remember this. We were talking, he brought up saltwater. We're not going to necessarily knock saltwater.
yeah.
But the comment was, it takes so much equipment to keep a healthy ecosystem, where I can do that same thing with plants.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are ways to do reef tanks with minimal equipment nowadays, and Bulk Reef Supply, those guys are amazing. They do great work, and there's a lot to be learned there. And I'm not knocking saltwater, I'm not, but this has a sponge filter and a bubble, and that's it. And then the plants do literally everything else, and you just let the algae be okay with it. I clean some up so we can see in there and it's presentable and stuff, but algae is part of the process. So don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid of snails. Don't be afraid of the little microorganisms that you're like, oh man, what have I got, an infestation of something? No way. That's fish food. That's good stuff. That's a healthy ecosystem. So yeah, man, live plants are the key. So
well, I can't thank you enough. This has been, I still come back to this one.
yeah.
This little 7-gallon Scarlet Baddest tank. Jared's been a great host. We've been hanging out, nerding out, talking fish. So, Jared, thank you.
Yes.
I really hope the viewers enjoy this. So, do you have any last words of wisdom parting?
No, it's been a pleasure, and I appreciate it. You're welcome to come hang out down here with or without the camera, and we'll just nerd out. I love talking fish, so
I will be back without the camera. It's much more enjoyable. But Jared, thank you
Right,
again.
Thank you.
And
Yep.
we'll see you guys in the next one. So guys, now that we are back, well, I'm back home, I just wanted to give a last thank you to Jared for opening his fish room to me. And hopefully it has inspired many of you to get into the hobby, but also to try something new, right? Jared has a very naturalistic, just Zen approach, which I love today. I cannot thank him enough for opening up his home and his fish room to me, his hospitality. And let's put it this way,
he has inspired me to try something new, and I am very excited for some of the plants that he sent home with me. So again, I cannot thank him enough. Please share this video, hit the like button. Let's show Jared some love. So guys, we'll definitely see you in the next one.